Howdy y'all, welcome to Adventures with Kendall. Today's adventure takes us to the Tilden Regional Forest above Berkeley to check out the Redwood Valley Railroad. It's a small railroad with a fascinating history, and I can't wait to take you there because we were invited to film the railroad on its 70th anniversary. So let's get going and go check out the Redwood Valley Railroad. The Redwood Valley Railway is a 50-inch gauge miniature railway in the Tilden Regional Park, just above the city of Berkeley, California. The full length of this railroad is 1.25 miles of track through the beautiful wooded area of the Tilden Regional Park. Total ride time on this railroad is 12 minutes, but the history of it spans 70 years. So let's get going and learn the story of the Redwood Valley Railway. Our story begins in 1952 with the opening of the Tilden, Southgate, and Pacific Railway. The railway started as a hobby for Eric Thompson, a mechanical engineer and track inspector for the Western Pacific Railroad. This original version of the railway was built during the development of Tilden Park by the East Bay Regional Park District. At the time, it was decided that an authentic steam railroad would be a great addition to this beautiful California setting. The original equipment ran on 12-inch gauge track and was operated by a small steam locomotive called the Cricket and had 6 riding cars that were not wide enough for 2 adults to sit side by side in comfort. In 1968, under the direction of William Penn Mott, the Park District granted permission to extend the line to the east. For the expanded layout, the gauge would be 50 inches and a new locomotive and passenger cars would be built. Eric spent all his spare time in his basement over the next several years building locomotive number 4, Laurel, a 242 Columbia type. With the arrival of the new equipment and larger track, the original train could not be used and was sold to the Folsom Valley Railroad in Folsom, California, where it operates to this day. Throughout the 70s, the railroad would extend further eastward, and in 1978, the new station and platform called Army Camp was completed, and the old Southgate station was retired and dismantled. Here's a quick history of the station's name, Army Camp. During World War II, there had been an anti-aircraft, weapons, and radar installation on Vollmer Peak. When the Army moved out of the area in 1957, it was decided that the site would become the terminus of the railroad's extension. Other improvements include planting the redwood trees around the Army Camp Station, the building of further locomotives and rolling stock, and of course the construction of a brand new roundhouse and turntable in 1992. This new facility provides a convenient place for steaming up the locomotives. A viewing gallery in the roundhouse allows visitors to see all the locomotives, even when not in use. One highlight of the Redwood Valley's history occurred in 1988, when engine number 5 and its caboose paid a visit to Great Britain and ride on their 50-inch gauge railways, including the Romney, Hythe, and Dymchurch Railway.
Diesels come and diesels go, but here they hope steam goes on forever.
Sadly, founder Eric Thompson would pass away in 1995. Today, the operations of the Redwood Valley Railroad are managed by his daughter, Ellen. And the railway is still operating successfully. They even make special appearances on the Hillcrest and Wautoke Railway for their Rail Fest. Now let's head into the present and enjoy our day on the Redwood Valley Railroad. But first, the crew has a safety meeting before operations can start. After this meeting, I decided to have a chat with one of the crew members of the Redwood Valley Railroad. I'm here with one of the employees here at the Redwood Valley Railroad, Kenny. Kenny, what do you do here and why do you like it?
I work in the steam department, and it's a lot of fun to just keep these run-ins, and we hit 70 years finally. We're looking forward to a lot more.
What's the thing that keeps bringing you back here, other than the paycheck?
The people and the steam. It's got to be the two.
Ah, I like that. While everyone is getting ready, a special guest came to see the Redwood Valley Railroad. Ray Pimlott was the machinist here at Redwood Valley and built the largest locomotive in the fleet, number 7. Fun fact, while this locomotive was being built, the wheels were borrowed by Industrial Light and Magic to build a miniature replica of Sierra number 3 for Back to the Future Part 3 and survived the final crash scene from that movie. Meanwhile, the crews are getting ready for today's operations by moving the locomotives and cars along the loading platform at the Army Camp Station. The boarding platform here at Redwood Valley is the Army Camp Station, which was the former location of the barracks and mess hall of the Grizzly Peak VHF station. And while the passengers are getting on board their trains, let's go talk to a good friend of mine from the Hillcrest and Wautoki Railroad, John Slagle. He invited us to come here with my friend John from Hillcrest at Reedley, here at the Redwood Valley's 70th Jubilee. What brings you here?
Well, you know, Redwood Valley is like a sister railroad to Hillcrest. They taught us how to railroad properly, and we're just here to celebrate their 70th birthday, if you will.
That's really wonderful. Now it's time to go on a ride. All aboard!
Thank you, Sean.
Are you guys ready?
Dispatch 7 out of service at the airport. Hey, no, I don't want
Now that was Scott Kennedy. Let's go over and talk to him for a bit. I'm here with Scott Kennedy. He works for the Durango and Silverton Narrow Gauge Railroad, and he's here at the Redwood Valley Railroad. What brings you here?
Well, every June and usually in December I come down here for the special events, but I used to be full-time up here, involved with this railroad since I was about 7 or 8 years old. So I'm 25 now, so I moved out to Colorado, and I love coming back and playing with the trains and getting to see everybody again. It's always a good time.
So that's what brings you back here.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, and getting to run all the equipment and be part of the meet and the Winterfest that we do in December, 2 weekends before Christmas, is always fun.
After a splendid chat with Scott, we'll continue on our journey on this little railroad. We are now passing Snake Rock on the Western Loop, and we'll be heading back to Army Camp pretty soon. Here we are back at Army Camp Station, and we're going around the loop to turn around before we get off our train. That was quite a pleasant journey. Now for a bonus ride. Now this journey is a special photo opportunity trip for both the Redwood Valley and Hillcrest and Wautuki Railroad crew members. Oh look, there's Scott again. Hi Scott. The tracks down below belong to the Golden Gate Live steamers. These are hobbyists who operate trains that are noticeably smaller than the Redwood Valley locomotives. Anyway, here's the spot of our photo shoot. Trestle number 1, right next to barn number 1. While I took many pictures at this spot, this one was the best, of Redwood Valley's number 7 and Hillcrest's number 5. After public operations ceased for the night, every member of the crew gathered in the roundhouse for a nice dinner, and later, a nice nighttime train ride on the Redwood Valley Railroad, with all of the locomotives coupled together to pull this one long train. It's a Redwood Valley tradition signifying the end of the day for the railroad, and gives us a great opportunity to see the Bay Area at night. Now it's time to put the locomotives away for the night, and for us to head back to the studio after a nice day on the Redwood Valley Railroad. All aboard! I hope you had a great time learning about the Redwood Valley Railroad and visiting this wonderful place. It was a blast seeing all those locomotives and cars and taking a ride on this magnificent little railroad. I even had a blast seeing the Hillcrest and Wautuki engines interact with the Redwood Valley equipment. It was really fun. And speaking of fun, our next journey will take us to the zoo. More specifically, the Chaffee Zoo in Fresno, California. It's going to be a fun day seeing animals in this unique location. But until then, if you have a location for us to go on, comment or email down below. We would love to see your suggestions. And also subscribe and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We would love to see your faces. Now that's all the time we have here on Adventures of Kendall. See you later, folks, and may your gifts bless the world.